Thank you, Jesus.
When
Hallelujah, Baba.
I
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we want to thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord God, for blessing us with the time to be here. Thank you, Lord, for opening the doors and the gates of wickedness so that, Lord, we can come here in fellowship with you. In the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we are raising our thanksgiving to you, Lord, because we do not want to be counted amongst the 9 lepers who did not come back to say thank you, because we know that it is you who has made it possible for us to be here. And we thank you, Jesus, for the powerful blood of the Lamb. The blood, Lord God, as the Bible says that they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And the love not their lives unto death. And right now, in Jesus' name, every wickedness that is coming against this service, we say that we overcome you by the blood of Jesus Christ, the powerful blood of the Lamb, the powerful blood of Jesus Christ, the powerful blood of Jesus Christ. Let it reign in this place in Jesus' name. The powerful blood of the Lamb, let it silence all the evil words and the evil utterances in the mighty name of Jesus. The powerful blood of the Lamb, let it go down to the foundations of the evil altars that operate against this service and destroy them in Jesus' name. Dismantle them in the mighty name of Jesus. The powerful blood of the Lamb, let it go and strike all the mirrors that are coming against us in Jesus' name. We say the powerful blood of the Lamb, the powerful blood of Jesus Christ. Lord, we pray in the name of Jesus that by the blood of the Lamb, let all the relay lines be cut asunder in Jesus' name. Father, we bless you and we thank you, Lord God. In Jesus' name we pray now, and we are thanking you for the powerful blood of Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name we pray, and those who agree say amen and amen. We thank the Lord. Amen. Can we bless the Lord for his blood? Amen. Bless the Lord for his blood. Amen. That I'm born again because of his blood. Amen. I'm born again because of his blood. We thank the Lord for the blood of Jesus Christ that is still fighting for us in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank the Lord. The blood that speaks better things than the blood of Abel. In the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you now. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. We bless the Lord. Now I want us today to go to the word that is written in the book of let's go to Luke first. All right, I have two scriptures. Let's go to Luke chapter 16. Luke chapter 16, and we'll take our reading from verse 10. And I think that is the only scripture that we'll be reading there. All right, the book of Luke, chapter 16, and we'll take our reading in verse 10. And if we are all there, can we all say amen? Amen. 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 He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. And I also read it too in another version where it is written, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very least will also be dishonest with much. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we want to thank you, Jesus. We thank you, Jesus, for your Spirit, whom you sent to us to teach us the word. And we thank you, Spirit of the living God, for it is written that it is not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord of hosts. Now we ask you, Spirit of the living God, that you take over on this service. Let it be your voice that is heard here. We ask that you take the leadership and take us to the will of God in Jesus' name for this service. And we ask that every word that is spoken is the word that comes from you in Jesus' name. Let your anointing flows in this place in the mighty name of Jesus. And as I speak, let in the mighty name of Jesus, let me become less as you become more in this place. In Jesus' name, Lord, we give you all the glory, Lord God, and we are thanking you. And those who believe say amen and amen. The Lord today is taking us to this word as we are celebrating the month of August, which is the month where the whole world is celebrating a womb. Amen. Is celebrating a womb. I always like to refer to women as the womb. That you are the womb. That the whole world is celebrating a woman in the month of August. But the Lord just took me to some of the things that will trouble a woman, that will be a big concern to a woman, because a woman can take something that is little and make it big. It is the woman that is responsible for many things. If you can talk about a woman in a house, you can see that the woman is not only the CEO, but is also the Minister of Finances in the house. Hi, boo! Where are the women in this house? Not celebrating that you are also the Minister of Finances in this house. And that is the truth. A woman is the Minister of Finances, is also the CEO that is checking whether everything is going right. Is the woman that does that. So now let's talk about all these things that will make us to be short of, will make us not to succeed in the responsibility that God has blessed us with. So we're going to talk now about all these things that make us to experience financial instability in our houses. Everyone is like, financial instability. What makes us as women to experience financial instability, because as a woman you also want to look good, all right? So many of us are up here, swallowed by debts, because we want to look good. So you find yourself then overspending because of all of these things that you want to have, whereas you do not have enough money for. So a woman being the Minister of Finance in the house can also create disorder, financial disorder in the house. If the woman is not careful, all right, can be responsible for the financial disorder that is in the house. Because everything that looks good, that looks nice also, and buying also all these nice things, because it's not only what you're gonna wear, all right, it is also about what your children are gonna eat, all right? So my children are gonna eat ice cream, are gonna eat cheese, all right? Are gonna eat chips, are gonna eat all kinds of things when they go to school. When they go to school, children of today is like a competition of what you are packing for your children. Is everything that when you are looking at it, you are like, this is 500 rands. This Tupperware is 500 rands. But you also look at the Tupperware that the child is carrying. It's something else that must be outstanding, all right? That must be far better than others, because this is my child, all right? So you are spending for your child, but you find yourself overspending as a woman. So these are the things that create instability, financial instability in the house, all right? And it is us also, not every money that you have is the money that you spend until you get to zero. Until you get to zero. You are not overspending, but you are also ensuring that there is nothing that is left in what you have received, because the seed giver has given you money, because he is the seed giver, has blessed you with a seed, but you munch everything, including the seed. Am I talking to the right people, Bettina? Including the seed, you munch everything. So there's absolutely no saving in this house. No saving in this house. All right? It's not only overspending, because I can overspend, all right, but have something that I have put aside. But here, I'm talking about somebody who is nothing on the side. You have not put anything on the side. You have spent everything, all right? And also, now you find yourself that you are swimming in debts. You are swimming in debts, all right? And in this household, there is absolutely no budgeting. There's no household budget that is done in this house. And that is the reason for overspending, because there is no household budget that is kept in this house. All right? So whenever you are spending for as long as you have the potential of swiping. So what happens now? We swipe, we don't go to the ATM and withdraw, all right, and pay with the cash. So now you are swiping, spending money that you don't see. All right? You don't see with your eyes, but you are just swiping and swiping and swiping. And that's, you are swiping and spending money that you don't know whether you still have in your bank account. And this is the enemy working against us. Is working against us, because when you are swimming in debts, you are owing. All right? And the Bible says that we should not owe any person except love. That's what the Bible says. All right? We should not owe any person except love. And in this word, the Bible here is so clear if we read this word, all right? I love it in this version, all right? And we can go also, I want it, if we can go to the second scripture that I wanted to read, which is in Matthew chapter 25, verse 21. It says that in that parable, I think that we know the parable of the 10 talents. I'm not going to go to it. But then at the end, this is what is written. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things." All right? I will put you in charge of many things. This is what it says. I will put you in charge, all right? And come and share of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. All right? This is the part that I want us to read. It says that now, come and share your master's happiness. So meaning that when I am living a life of abundance, I experience my master's happiness. I share my master's happiness. All right? When I am living the life of abundance, meaning that this is what God has purposed for us. So if I have spent up to the last cent, then I have nothing to multiply with. All right? Because the Bible says that this is the blessing that God gave to the first man. He said that be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it. So meaning that every fruit that I receive from my God must be multiplied, all right? So that it replenishes the earth. All right, and subdues it. So I must always have something that is left so that it is multiplied and bring me abundance. I cannot experience abundance when there is zero in my life, because any number that I multiply zero with gives me zero. All right? So it doesn't matter what I bring on top of it. If there is zero in the foundation, I will always have a zero. So what it means is that I need to change the way that I do my things. There must be something that is left that is called my savings, so that I have something to multiply on it. All right? And I experience then that abundance and share my happiness with my God. All right? And share the happiness of my God with him. Put right, all right? Because he says that come and share my happiness, all right? So that is why whenever we are experiencing a lot of debts, there are quarrels in the household, quarrels in the marriage that often lead to divorce. All right? It's finances. If you look at and you ask the reason why did you divorce, then it will start with we did not have enough finances in the house. All right? And those finances cause displeasure in the house. And finances that are depleted, they make the marriage to be depleted as well. Because every discussion that is done in this household is about the shortages of finances. And children of today demand. They do not ask, they demand. They want everything that you cannot provide. And as parents, you want to look good to your child, all right? You don't sit down your child and say that I don't have money. Because if I say that I don't have money, it's like I'm exposing myself to my child. So your children are asking and demanding it because they can see that you are well off, all right? According to your dress code, all right? Well off, everything that is in the house is perfect. It looks so good. So they are boasting about you as a parent that you have money. They don't know that it is all debts. Am I talking to the right people now? So God wants us to experience abundance so that we can have that happiness with him. Am I talking to the right people now? So now let's get and bring it now close to us. What is it that is making us to experience this lack? The Bible says that in the book of John chapter 10 verse 10, it says that the enemy has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And all of us, we know that when Satan fell, he fell with nothing. And when he fell with nothing, and when God also says that silver is mine and gold is mine. So what it means is that silver does not belong to Satan. All right? Gold does not belong to Satan. So where is he getting it from? From the children of God who are receiving seeds from God, who are blessed by God. Am I talking to the right people? Because God is our provider. When he is our provider, so it means that he gives us, he's silver and gold. So the enemy comes to us using the tricks that he uses and to deceive us so that he can get it from us. And the little that we have is what Satan takes away from us so that we have absolutely no savings. And when you don't have any savings, you have nothing to multiply with. Am I talking to the right people? So right now, let's look at this thing and be honest about it, all right? And look at the way in which we are handling our finances, because you cannot come out of it unless you change situations that are in your life, all right? You cannot be, for as long as you are hiding it and lying about it, you will not get out of it. So one is going to say that, but I pray every day and I ask God to change my situation. God is not going to change situations in your life when you are still mismanaging your finances, because you are blocking him from doing it for you. All right? The Bible says that is very clear. If you go to the book of Psalm 97 verse 5, verse 2, it says that it says that the throne of God is founded on righteousness and justice. It's righteousness and justice that is the throne of God. So what it means is that whenever I pray, I need to know that God will be judging my prayers according to righteousness and justice. Am I talking to the right people? And we talk about God who is the judge. He's the judge. He is the judge. He is the judge here on earth, all right? He judges here on earth and also in heaven, all right? In heavens. He's the judge of all heavens, and he judged the four corners of the earth. So what it means in simple terms is that he has the jurisdiction to judge here on earth. He also has the jurisdiction to judge in heavens. All right? So all of us, we know that Satan has got courts as well. And God also has got his own courts. Satan has his own courts, because everything that God does, Satan does it. All right? But the difference is that Satan does it in a way that is contrary to the word of God. All right? Because should he do something that is in line with the word of God, he will be bowing to God. All right? He will be bowing to the word. And who is the word? The word is Jesus Christ. All right? So now, I want us to follow this, because one is going to say that I've been praying for my finances, and I have not been receiving any answers. And today you're going to learn as to why you are not receiving answers to your prayers. All right? And God is going to be unpacking it to us. And I don't want to preach. I want us just to get this thing so that it gets straight to you, that there are certain prayers that do not receive answers. All right? And the reason that they do not receive answers, it is us, all right, who are on the wrong side. It is about you, how you are managing your finances, that makes you to be disqualified to receive from God. Because when God looks at you, now you are making the prayer and say that, Lord, would you please help me with my finances? And the Lord is looking at you. He says that, all right, I blessed you. I said that be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it. All right? This is not when you go to him, you are going to him. When you take this scripture and you take it to him and he's looking at it, is your right, all right? He blessed you with it, is your right. So it becomes your legal right to be fruitful. It is also your legal right, your fruitfulness to be multiplied, replenish the earth and subdue it. That's your legal right spiritually, all right? So when I pray, I need to know that the realm of the spirit responds to two things, all right? It responds to righteousness and justice. And when it responds, when we talk about righteousness, then it is me. Is there any sin that is in my life? All right? Is there any sin that is in my life that will make God to respond to my prayer? That is righteousness. Secondly, is according to justice. Justice is this request that I am making right now according to justice. All right? Is it something that is in line with the word of God, so as to make it to be justifiable for me to receive from God? Am I talking to the right people? First, therefore, simplifying it further. So when I'm making a prayer, then there must be, when God looks at me, must see the blood of his son, righteousness. And secondly, must hear the word, all right? And that word, it is his son. Am I talking to the right people? For me to move the heart of God, all right? Because when it's God the justice, then when it's God the justice, what it means is that justice is about whether you are right in what you are doing. All right? And your rightness is judged against something. All right? And this thing that is judged against it is above you. So what your rightness in this situation is judged according to the word. All right? And the word is above you because the word is Jesus Christ. All right? So what does that mean then is that when I am seeking justice, God is judging me against something that is above me, which is the word, which is his son. Now, therefore, it doesn't matter how much he loves me. Justice excludes love. All right? Justice excludes love. So if I'm gonna go to God and say, oh Lord, you love me, I know, I'm approaching you with a covenant of love. The Lord will say that, yes, I love you. My love for you is unconditional, but right now, it's justice that operates here. So there are certain prayers where we do not receive what we are asking for, despite the fact that God loves us, but there is no justice in what we are asking for. So God is compelled, therefore, not to give us the answer that we are desiring. All right? And Satan is standing whenever I'm making a request. The Bible said that is in the book of Zechariah chapter 3. The high priest Joshua, when he was appearing before the Lord, the Bible says that Satan was on his right hand. When Satan is on your right hand, the right hand is the hand that you are receiving with. So Satan is on the right hand to say that you will not receive according to justice. Am I trying to the right people? And justice, what it means is that whatever that I'm asking for, I don't qualify according to the word of God. Amen. But I'm righteous. All right, I'm righteous, but I'm judged now according to the word. And the word is about my behavior, the things that I have done. Am I talking to the right people? The things that I do. So when I'm coming to God and say that, God, bless me with more, God is looking at me whether how am I managing the little that he gave me. Am I managing it according to the principles of the word, the little that he gave me? Because the Bible here is so clear. It says that he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust, it says what? Unjust. He that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. So if I cannot handle the list that I have according to the principles of justice, then God cannot trust me with more. He loves me so much. And when he looks at me, I have repented. There's righteousness that is in me. But then the principle of justice. So when we pray, we focus mainly on righteousness. But the foundation of the throne of God is righteousness and justice. So what it means is that he will judge you according to both principles. So if I'm bringing him righteousness, then he says that was justice. Am I talking to the right people tonight? So that is what is making us to experience lack as children of God, is how we are managing our finances. Am I talking to the right people tonight? It's how we are doing it. So Satan therefore goes to court. The Bible says that he goes to court day and night to accuse the brethren. So each time that I'm saying that, oh Lord, please bless me, the Lord is not looking at your tears. He's the judge. And the judge, that it doesn't matter. You can cry buckets and buckets and buckets. But what you have come for, if it is contrary to the constitution of the land, he will not judge in favor of you. Am I talking to the right people tonight? He will not. So we need to understand that in my prayer, I need to satisfy two things. The realm of the spirit operates in two things. It operates in righteousness and justice. So in simple terms, the realm of the spirit operates according to righteousness and law. Because I'm addressing God who is my Father and God who is the judge. So we forget the principle of justice when we pray. That's how we say that I have prayed every prayer. When you meet somebody and say that I don't know what else that I need to do. I have prayed, I have fasted. You go into a 40 days fast and the Lord is like, justice, justice. You are contrary to the word, and I cannot allow my son to be crucified for the second time. Because when I give you according to the injustice that you are bringing to me, then I will make my son to be crucified for the second time. He is God of justice. Am I talking to the right people tonight? So we need to understand that the realm responds to law. To law. This is what I was saying the other day, that when you pray, when you say that I command in the name of Jesus, that's law. When you say that I command, that's law. So when I say that I command in the name of Jesus, God who is seated there on the throne, he's like, okay, I'm wearing my cap now as a judge, because my child there is commanding. Because when you command, that's law. Amen. When you say that in the name of Jesus, I decree, that's law. And the demons know that right now you are applying law. And they know, they will look at you and see that, okay, do you have the authority to apply this law, to use this law, or to release this law? They will know that, yes, if you speak with knowledge, you pray with knowledge, they will know that you know that when you decree, then it is law. Am I trying to the right people? They will know and sense it and know that in the spirit, that when you are speaking it, you know what you are doing. You have entered into the office of the king, because you are the king for the king and the Lord for the Lord. All right, you have entered now in the office of the king. You are issuing a decree All right, and that decree that you are issuing, it must not end here. All right, this decree, it needs to go up in heaven. So when I say that I decree, God the Father is like, yes, you decree here on earth, you decree on earth, but you speak about me now in heaven, because this decree will need me in heaven. Because the Bible says that whatsoever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So this decree, it must go, it must be established in heaven for it to manifest here on earth. Am I talking to the right people? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. And you have been saying that, now when I pray, you must know that when you decree, you have entered now. It's about justice. You will be judged according to the principles of justice, whether you have the legal authority to issue the decree. It will only be effective, it will only be valid, that decree, when you have issued it with a legal authority that is valid. Am I talking to the right people tonight? Say to somebody, God is the judge. Hey. He's the judge. Is the judge. God is the judge. So if you're going to run away from law, you are not going to pass situations. Amen. He's the judge. He's the judge. So listen to this, all right? Listen to this. So now, how do I correct this thing that I am in right now? I need it to be corrected, all right? And this is what I said to others, because when the Bible says that Satan goes to court every day. He goes to court, he says day and night, all right? I think that I'm not, he goes day and night to accuse the brethren. So what it means is, now, if Satan goes to court day and night against me, and I don't go to court, I don't go to the courts of heaven. So how many cases are pending against me? All right, how many cases that are pending against me? One is going to ask, is it possible for Satan to go to court and obtain a judgment against me in my absence? The answer is yes. Because the way that the courts of the earth are operating is similar to the way that the courts of heaven are operating. Because what is happening here on earth is what we have learned from heaven. It started in heaven. So here on earth, you can go to court without the respondent and go and obtain an order against the respondent in his absence. And what the judge will be looking at will be like, okay, what you are bringing here, is there any prima facie evidence that we have here? Oh, yes, there is prima facie evidence against the person who is not in court, and granted that order in your absence. And we call it the ex parte applications. So Satan can do it as well. So he does it, he goes to court and he makes all these ex parte applications against us. So there are so many pending cases that are against us. All right, and that order is going to be valid. All right, one is going to say, how can it be valid in my absence? No, he accused an evidence that is sufficient. All right, that made the judge, when the judge is looking at you, he's like, oh, this one, look at the way that he's using the credit card. All right, he's using the credit card. And what money are you using that is in the credit card? You are using money of Satan, which is zero, is a minus. Because Satan does not have. Whenever you use your credit card, you are using what? A minus. The reason that is a minus is because Satan does not provide anything. So God is looking at it is that, this one. And now it goes and says that, what is my word saying about you managing your finances? It says that, oh, you are not even managing my finances according to my principles that are written in the word. So then he grants the order against you. So as you are walking and on earth, there are so many judgments that are open against you, that are operating against your finances. So as you are making the prayer and saying that, Lord, would you please bless me with this money? God is looking at your prayer and is looking at the judgments that are against you, that you have not dealt with yet. Am I talking to the right people, Nabetuna? So it happens. So now we need, as people of God, one is going to ask us, how can I go to court? How can I go to court every day myself? Is by making a prayer that is focusing on righteousness and justice. Because when I'm touching on justice, then I'm shooting straight to the courts of heaven. So it is possible for me to go to the courts of heaven every day, every time that I pray, by making, as I'm praying, a switch to the courts of heaven. When I'm switching to the courts of heaven, it's by me addressing it, because I know that this issue can only be dealt with by God as the judge. And I shoot and address him in the middle of a prayer, because he's God who is all present. So I don't need to stop and say that, Lord, can I now go to the courts of heaven? He is all present. He's all present. And there might be many judgments that Satan has passed against you in his courts. In his courts, against your finances, and you're looking at the way in which you are managing your finances, because the way that you are managing your finances is contrary to the word of God. Am I talking to the right people? So now, and I looked at this thing when the Lord was talking to me about this thing. I look at this. So I said that, Lord, so it means that there are three ways in which I could go to the courts of heaven. One, it is by me preparing my case, all right? And say that, okay, now I'm going to the courts of heaven, and I'm asking the Lord also to summon Satan to come, all right, to the courts of heaven, all right, and preparing my case and going there and presenting my case against Satan. Formal way of doing things, and it is the way that we do it here in the courts of the earth, having the accused person summons, all right, issued against this person, and it comes to the court, and I am there, and is there, all right. The man of God there who knows that this thing is an advocate here, knows these things that I'm talking about. Amen. All right. So they are there, both of them. All right. You are there and is there. So that's the way, one way in which I could get to the courts of heaven. And the second way that I could go to the courts of heaven is by me going with my application, my petition against Satan in his absence, and to make my application against him and ask the judge, all right, to pass judgment against him, all right, because of what he has done, all right. Or the third way that I could go to the courts of heaven, when I am praying, I do my hybrid, all right. As I'm praying, I switch to the court of heaven. Because right now, it is about me now issuing the decree. When I'm issuing the decree in my prayer, I have switched now. I have entered the court of heaven, because the decree will be issued, will be established in the court of heaven. All right? When I say that in the name of Jesus, I decree, and I'm asking you, God, in Jesus' name, because when you say that, I decree 1, 2, 3, and Lord, I pray in the name of Jesus, the judge is sitting in the courts of heaven, I pray that you establish this judgment, all right? Because he is the judge. And the Bible says that I cannot judge, but only him can judge. So I'm asking him to pass the judgment. Am I talking to the right people? And I also say that in the mighty name of Jesus, may this judgment be operate right now in Jesus' name. When I'm doing that, I'm issuing now the proclamation, and I'm asking you, Lord, let it operate right now. When I'm doing that, that's a proclamation. Am I trying to the right? And when you read the scriptures, it's all about, when you read, you'll find that I command. You'll find that decree. You'll find proclamation. You'll find pronouncement. That is what? That is law. That is law. Amen. When you are standing there and say that, I pronounce in the name of Jesus. When you say that, I pronounce in Jesus' name. So the demons move back, because they know right now that you are addressing the judge, all right? What I mean is that what you are saying now will need the judge. Amen. Will need the judge to confirm it. Amen. So I'm saying, I pronounce in the name of Jesus. So that thing that I have decreed, it will not operate until it is established by the judge. All right? Until it is established by the judge. And this, I'm going to make it for the second time, all right? So that you can understand this. Because I want you to understand this. That what we do here on earth is what God started to do in heaven. So now, when I'm gonna give you, just for you to understand your decree, when you make your decree, because a decree, you are making law. You're making law when you say I decree. That's a law. All right? So that law needs to be established in heaven and be recorded in the books of the courts of heaven, that you issued this decree. Am I talking to the right people tonight? So now, let me simplify this for you to understand it. So because you need to see how it happens here. So there is a behavior that is contrary to the constitution of the country. So now, then there will be a bill that will be put together and introduced into parliament. So this bill is introduced into parliament. And it is about correcting that behavior that is contrary to the constitution. It's about correcting now. I'm going now to the courts of heaven. It's about correcting the behavior that is contrary to the word. All right? There is something that is happening in your life that is contrary to the word. All right? That needs to be corrected. All right? So now, then, it will go, it's a bill, it will go to parliament. And it will go to a particular house in the parliament. Then it goes to the portfolio committee that is responsible for that. And it looks into this bill, and then the bill, then it's going to be the bill of that portfolio committee. Then the portfolio committee, after it is done with this bill, will take it to the National Assembly. You see? And the National Assembly will look into this bill and say that, no, we are happy with this bill. I'm going to cut the process short, otherwise it can go to the NCOP, but let's cut it, go to the provinces. But let's cut it and say that it's a bill that is considered by National Assembly. When the National Assembly is happy with this bill, then it passes it. It passes it as law, but no one will be charged against that law. All right? No one will be charged against that law. Why? It is because it has not reached the president yet. All right? So no demon will be charged with your decree until it gets to the judge, who is God the Father. Am I talking to the right people? So, but I have decreed, and I was sweating. In the name of Jesus, I decree. But that decree is nothing until it gets to the judge, until this law gets to the president of the country. So it will go to the president, and the president will say that, yes, I assent and I sign it into law. But still, no one will be charged against that law that has been, because now the bill has been promulgated into law, but no one will be charged. Why? Because it has not been, its implementation has not been proclaimed yet. Do you see this? So, meaning what? But God the Father is sitting in the courts of heaven, has agreed with this law, and said that yes, my decree is okay, all right, and is done with it. But now, why am I still experiencing lack in my life? Why am I still mismanaging my finances, whereas there's a decree against the thief? All right, why things are still going south, whereas there's a decree against, because I said that, Lord, let this decree be established in heaven. All right, but now what you are missing is the time of the implementation, because every law has the date of commencement of the implementation of the law. That's a proclamation. There must be a proclamation that is issued by the president to say that today it starts to be law that is implemented. Am I trying to the right people? So I need to say that in the name of Jesus, now it starts to be implemented now. In the name of Jesus, I issue this decree in the mighty name of Jesus. And you are saying that you are issuing what? In the name of Jesus. Because whatever you ask must be in the name of Jesus. So I'm issuing this decree in the name of Jesus. And Lord, I pray in Jesus' name, as you are the judge sitting on your throne, I pray, sitting on the courts of heaven, I pray that this judgment be established and be recorded in your books. And I proclaim in Jesus' name, let it be established today. In Jesus' name. Am I talking to the right people now? So we forget to do all those things. As a result, then we don't succeed. Can we right now, as we are here seated, because all of us were frustrated, all right? And I learned one thing, all right? My time is against me. I learned one thing. That the enemy will go to court, to the courts of heaven, and apply against us that every case you have issued and asked everything and done everything, but you have not changed yet. So we'll go and have that case reopened against you and adduce new evidence, and that evidence will be you mismanaging your finances. Can I repeat it? Can I repeat it? All right? So now you have asked God, all right, and taken this matter to court, all right? You've taken this matter to court, all right? What is happening with the sound? You have taken this matter to court, all right? And you received your judgment and all right? And now, as we're going to be praying right now, all right? Received your judgment against the thief. And what will happen is, when you have not changed your behavior, then the devil worshippers and Satan can go to court and ask that that case be reopened and adduce fresh evidence that you have not obeyed any of the promises that you made. You have not. You are still behaving in the old way, mismanaging your finances. So the case gets reopened. And when it is reopened, let me see, let me check what is going to happen. The Bible is quite clear. It says that the enemy will go and get demons, 7 demons, that are stronger than this demon that had defied your finances. And they will make your finances, all right, depleted in a way that you have never seen before. Am I talking to the right people, Nabituna? So now, you used to have your finances, at least you will be spending on 1, 2, 3, which are the necessities. But now you would find that you are even struggling with the necessities. All right? It is because you disobeyed. You made a prayer, as everyone is making a prayer here, as you're going to be making a prayer. Whenever you make a prayer, deals in the kingdom of Satan. It causes damage in the kingdom of Satan. So then, the damage that you have done, then they wait and see if you're going to be obedient. And when they see that you are not obedient, they take this evidence and they take it to courts of heaven and say that, God, this is what he or she is doing with the finances. And God is going to look at this and say that, oh yes, the case will be reopened. And now there's judgment against you. Am I talking to the right people, Nabetuna? So we need to fulfill the promises that we make. Whatever promise that you make today, fulfill it. Because you are not operating in hiding. The enemy can see what you are doing. The damage that you have caused today is the damage that is going to make them to study you. So then, what helps me to make Satan to back off is when I stick to my righteousness and do as I have promised. Am I talking to the right people, Nabetuna? So many of us we mismanage our finances, and we expect God to be on our side. So he cannot be on our side, all right, when we are messing it. So right now, I want us, all right, the Bible here says, all right, it says here, for him to add more, he needs to trust us with a little. So you are praying for more, but God is looking at the legal and sees that you cannot manage the legal. And also, now, I want us now to pray, all right? And the Bible also says in the book of Colossians chapter 2, verse 14 to 15, all right? It says that because Satan is gonna record, is gonna issue the monitoring spirit to monitor the way that you do things, all right? So every step that you do, every time that you swipe, then the monitoring spirits are recording that information, all right? And they take it to their court and obtain judgments against you, all right? That is in the courts of Satan, because Satan has got courts, all right? So now this is what, and this is what the Bible says, all right, is that in the book of Colossians chapter 2, verse 14 and 15, it says that Jesus Christ blotted out the handwriting. So that judgment will be handwritten. And it might not be the judgment. It might be a vow that will be made against you. That so on this day, because of this, you will never have this and that. That's a vow. It might be two people connecting with the people who are in your bloodline or people who know you, because you are having this pain today because you are hit by people you know. You are not, the pain that you have is not caused by strangers, it's caused by people that you know, mostly caused by people that you know. So now they might make a pact, all right? They might make a pact. Let me make the example of this pact, all right? It is somebody that you fellowship with, that you think that is born again, but is masquerading, all right? Is a devil worshiper. And that person is operating in the kingdom of Satan. And make a pact with the people who are in your bloodline. People who are in your bloodline, who are causing you pain in your bloodline. All right? As it is written, I'm going to read this scripture because I know that you're going to say that there's nothing that is happening in my bloodline. But the Bible here says that in the book of Micah, all right? The book of Micah. Let's go to the book of Micah, chapter 6, all right? It says that, I don't want to paraphrase it. The book of Micah, all right? Where is it? The book of Micah, chapter 7. I was saying 6 is 7. It says that a man's enemies are the members of his own household. And Jesus Christ echoed this word in Matthew chapter 12, verse 28. All right? So, whatever pain that you are experiencing, there might be a pact that was made. A pact that might have been made by your family members. Somebody who is a family member but a devil worshipper. And will say that, that person go to a necromancer that is wisangoma against you to say that your education will end with nothing. And that will be handwritten, and it might be a pact made with their blood, and make a blood and say that we're making a pact that so and so might study and study and study, but nothing will come out of education. Am I talking to the right people, Nabituna? Or there might be a decree or a judgment that they obtained against you. Or there might be a curse that they made against you and wrote that curse. Why? Handwriting is because they understand, Satan understands that the realm of the spirit operates with legalities. So, A curse can be spoken, but it can also be written. But right now, the one that is written will have more legal weight than the one that is spoken. So he writes. Am I talking to the right people in a bit tonight? Writes. But now Jesus Christ comes and says that I blot it all out. And he says that I don't blot it all. He says that not only it, he says that also the legalities that are attached to it. Oh Lord, you know when this was revealed to me, I said that, but we have been praying so wrongly for a long time and not attaching the legalities that are in the realm of the spirit. Because they are here in the word. Because when Jesus Christ here, when it is written here in the book of Colossians that the ordinances that are attached to this handwriting, he says that he blots them out. So he talks about law now. Amen. And when he talk about the ordinances are the laws that are territorial. All right, they are territorial. So ordinances, bring it close to us. Ordinances are passed by municipalities because they are territorial. So there might be an ordinance that is passed against your finances, territorial. That is only circling and in the four corners, operating in the four corners of your finances. So that's an ordinance is territorial. It has chosen only your finances. Am I talking to the right people in a bit tonight? And Jesus Christ said that I remove them from you. And in other versions says that I nullify them. Meaning that he invalidates it. Through what? His blood. And the fourth thing that he says that he does, he said that I nail it to my cross. All right. So Jesus Christ, he takes what is written that has the ordinances that operate against you, invalidates them and nail them to his cross. Nail them to his cross. And Jesus Christ, now it does not stop with that. The fifth thing that is the fifth thing that he does, all right? He says that now I go straight to the spirits that are executing it. That decree. What is executing that decree? They are demons that are executing it. Because there's always the execution. All right? Execution is operation. All right? So that's legal. So if you look at this whole process, it's a legal process. All right? So there must be execution. So that execution is done by the principalities and the powers. And when you talk about the principalities, these are the spirits that are territorial. So there might be principalities assigned to your finances, only your finances. So these principalities, so Jesus Christ said that I disarmed them the principalities and the powers by making the public spectacle, triumphing over them by my cross. All right, so Jesus Christ disarming means that I disempower them. So disempowering means that they cannot operate against you. They have no legal authority to operate against your finances. Complete. All right, so are you ready right now? But you have to make some promises to the Lord and say that, Lord, I will give, Lord, I will tithe, I will do all the principles that are here in your word. I will do them. But if you are not going to do it, it's not going to work. Because you are judged according to that. I listened to one devil worshiper, all right? And I told this to other people. And the Lord just took me to her. And she says that because I've been dealing with the issues, the courts and all that. So the Lord now took me to this, I'm Googling, then I get to this message of this woman. She says that she's an ex-devil worshiper. She says that my responsibility was to look at, my responsibility was to get the evidence. I was looking at the mismanagement of the finances, the money, the disorder of finances by the Christians. All right, I was collecting that information and then have it taken to court to reopen cases against the devil. Against the Christians. All right. So he says that I am collecting information. All right, and have that information taken to court to reopen cases against the Christians. So she says that one piece of evidence that we will adduce in court, that we know that we will succeed no matter what, he says that is the evidence of the mismanagement of finances. And that evidence is the evidence of a born again, that is a Christian who does not comply with Luke 16 verse 10. A Christian who does not receives the seeds from the Lord but does not plant them. A Christian who does not tithe says that, "Hi, lay again, we win the case very fast." So was saying that and saying that those are the two principles that are making the children of God to be bound, not to have money. Those are the two things. Say that we'll go to court and have them. So he said that that's what they do. All right, it's the message that is there. It's there. You can Google it and find it. And she says that is what she did. All right, she will do it. So right now, and I looked at it and all of this. So I said that, but Lord, you were saying that in Matthew chapter 25, verse 29, for whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. So meaning what? When God gives me something and I don't plant the seed and I don't save, all right? So even the little that I have will be taken from me. That is what this Bible says here. So when I mishandle the small blessings that God gives me, then he takes away everything from me. Because I am not trustworthy. This is the message that I know that you don't want to listen. Your flesh hates me to the core right now. And it's the truth. And I loved it when I was hearing it from an ex-devil worshiper. And saying that it was my assignment that I was doing. Said that I started to do this from the age of 22. All right? I was doing it. I was assigned to do that. Collect information. And this information, I suppose, they are using the monitoring spirits. And it also says this, that there are people that Satan brings it to you, and they are not brought to you by God, but they are brought by Satan. And you will say that you are doing the goodness of the Lord and you are blessing them. And they are not brought by God. So he says that whenever you do that, you release the money that you receive from God to the hands that have been sent by Satan. You are mismanaging your finances. They note it down. That you blessed without prayer first. Am I talking to the right people, Nabetuna? Not everyone who comes to you has been sent to you to borrow from you, has been sent by God. Not everyone. He said that we note it down, that you have, because we are trapping you, so we're gonna send somebody. And those people, let me tell you, those people who are sent by Satan to you, they are pressurizing you. And now, I don't know, now, they make you, not to even think. When a person comes to you like that, and he's asking, he says, yes, and now, and you're like, okay, all right, okay. You must know that one. You must know that one. That has been sent by Satan. Now, I knew of that thing long time ago when a certain man of God came to my house, all right? That was shortly after I got born again. So they came to my house. So they said to me that they want to see me, and was like, during the church service, they want to see me. So I said, okay, no, I'm going to be at my house in this time. So from church, I went to my house. So then they arrived, all right? And when they came, and then it was about the wedding. That was, I could not understand. As a story, say wedding, and what. But at the end, they are borrowing money from me. So I said that, where are your Bibles? They were not carrying the Bibles. They said that, oh, no, we don't have. So then, I don't know, but I found myself asking, where are your Bibles? And mind you, I'm so young in this thing. I'm talking to people who are in leadership at the church. I said, why are your Bibles? And they didn't have the Bibles. And then I said that, okay, I'm going to pray about it. They left. Then after that, I knelt down, and the Lord said that I did not send them. And let me tell you this. They never called me to ask as to when I'm going to give them that money. I prayed. I said, Lord, take them away. Am I talking to the right people, Nabituna? You must know that. Now, are you ready to do this prayer? It's going to be a short. We're going to do a hybrid prayer. I'm not going to rush it, all right? And I'm praying that the Lord not to make me to, not to make me to rush it, so that it gets to you, this prayer. This prayer, you need to make it, all right? Are you ready? So now, this prayer is going to start with repentance. Why are you doing repentance? Repentance is for you to satisfy the principle of righteousness, so that the blood of Jesus Christ can speak on your behalf. Am I talking to the right people? Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you, Jesus, for your love and for your mercy. We thank you, Jesus, for blessing us with this teaching. We thank you, Lord, for speaking truth to us. And right now, in the mighty name of Jesus, I come to you, Lord, and I ask that you forgive me. Forgive me of every sin that is in my life. Forgive me, Lord, for all the transgressions, Lord, that are in my life. I pray, Lord, that any sin that is in my mind, Lord, that is contrary to your word, any sin that is in my mind that is contrary to your word, any sin that is harbored in my heart that is contrary to the word of God, any sin, Lord, that I did with my hands, I pray, Lord, that I be forgiven. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray, Lord, that you forgive me for the self-curses that I made, Lord, against my finances, the self-curses that I made, the statements that I made that I will never have money. Lord God, I ask that I be forgiven, because you are my provider. You are my provider. I pray that I be forgiven in the mighty name of Jesus. I pray, Lord, that you forgive me for the sins that are in my father's bloodline, the sins that are in my mother's bloodline, that are operating against my finances, that open the gateways into my finances. I pray, Lord, in the name of Jesus, that I renounce the covenant with all those sins that are in my father's bloodline, the sins that are in my mother's bloodline, also the ancient sins that I inherited. I renounce the covenant with them in the mighty name of Jesus. All the sins that have opened the gateways into my finances, I renounce the covenant with them in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, I come to you now. I say in Jesus' name, Satan deceived me into these debts that I have right now. I pray that I be forgiven in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we give you all the glory, Lord God. We thank you, Jesus. We thank you, Father. I renounce the covenant with all the sins that open the gateway to the works of my hands. I renounce the covenant with all the sins that are operating against my storehouses, that are operating against my bank accounts. I renounce the covenant in Jesus' name with all the sins that open the gateways into my investments. I renounce the covenant in the mighty name of Jesus of all the sins that have opened the gateways into my career life. I renounce the covenant in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord God, as I pray before you, Lord, I say in the name of Jesus, I renounce the covenant with the marine kingdom, the sins that are connecting with the marine kingdom, the sins that are connecting with the kingdom of the forest, the sins that are connecting with the kingdom of the forest, the sins that are connecting with the kingdom of the earth, the sins that are connecting with the kingdom of the earth, the sins that are connecting with the graveyard spirits. I renounce the covenant in Jesus' name. As I appear before the throne of mercy, Lord, as I appear before the throne of mercy, Lord, I say that yes, Lord, I am a sinner, Lord. I am a sinner before you, Lord, and I pray that I be forgiven in the mighty name of Jesus. Let every garment that I'm wearing, every garment that is wicked, that is on me, I renounce the covenant with it in Jesus' name. I say that by the blood of Jesus Christ, let all the evil garments be removed from me in Jesus' name. Be removed from me in the mighty name of Jesus. The garments that I inherited from my father's bloodline, the garments that I inherited from my mother's bloodline, I renounce the covenant with them. Let them be removed in the mighty name of Jesus. I pray, Lord God, that you assign the angels, Lord, assign the angels, Lord, to remove the evil garments from me, to remove the garments of necromancy from me, to remove the garments of wickedness that are in my life in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we give you all the glory, Lord God, and we are thanking you, Lord, in Jesus' name. For it is written in the book of 1 John chapter 1 verse 8 that if I confess my sins, you are God who is faithful and just to forgive, and you will remove all unrighteousness from me. You will remove all unrighteousness from me in the name of Jesus. Now, as I appear before the throne of mercy, I pronounce in Jesus' name that right now I am the righteousness of the Lord. I am covered with the blood of Jesus Christ. The blood of Jesus Christ has washed me clean, has washed me whiter than the snow. In the name of Jesus, I pronounce that I am the righteousness of the Lord. I am the righteousness of the Lord in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we give you all the glory, Lord God, and we are thanking you, Father, in the mighty name of Jesus. And right now, as I appear before the judge, the judge of the highest court of heaven, I am here. I have a petition against Satan. As I appear before the judge, I have a petition against Satan that is based in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 to 15. It is based in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 to 15, where it is written that Jesus Christ blotted out the handwriting. He blotted out the handwriting together with the ordinances that are attached to it, and he nullified it. He blotted it out and he nullified it from me. He removed it from me and he nailed it to his cross. He nailed it to his cross. And he disarmed the principalities and the powers. He disarmed the principalities and the powers by making them the public spectacle, triumphing over them by his cross in Jesus' name. As I appear before the judge, I am addressing the judge in the name of Jesus. I'm addressing the judge in the name of Jesus. Let the book of life the book of the plan of God be opened in the name of Jesus. I pray that the book of the plan of God be opened in the name of Jesus. And I also pray that the book that shows my salvation, let it be open, because I am born again. I address the judge in the name of Jesus. For it is written, ask and it shall be given. When I ask in the name of Jesus, and before the judge, I am not alone, as it is written in the book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 7. It is written that I have 3 witnesses in heaven. It is God the Father, it is the Word, and it is the Holy Ghost. I have 3 witnesses in heaven. It is God the Father, it is the Word, and it is the Holy Ghost. And I also have 3 witnesses here on earth. It is the Holy Spirit, it is the blood of Jesus Christ, and it is the water. And I pray in the name of Jesus, let my witnesses, the voices of my witnesses, be recognized by the judge. Let them be recognized by the judge as I approach the judge with my righteousness in Jesus' name. And I pray that the judge to recognize the voice of the angels. Let it be recognized, the voice of the cloud of the witnesses, in the mighty name of Jesus. I am not alone here, in the mighty name of Jesus. And right now, this is my testimony before the judge. It is my testimony before the judge that the enemy, who is Satan, has made me to mismanage my finances, has created disorder in my finances. The enemy, who is Satan, has caused disorder in my finances. And this is my testimony before the judge. And I ask the judge, let the book of the finances be open. The book of the finances be open as I appear before the judge. I am here before the judge, and I repent that I have permitted Satan to mismanage my finances. I have permitted wanted him through deception to mismanage my finances, but I appear today before the judge because my eyes are open. I appear before the judge because my eyes are open, and it is right now. I break the covenant. I say before the judge, I break the covenant with the spirit of financial mismanagement. I break the covenant with the spirit of theft that is operating against my finances. I break the covenant in the mighty name of Jesus. I appear before the judge to break the covenant. I break the covenant in the mighty name of Jesus. I say right now, I break the covenant. I break the covenant with the thief that has been stealing my finances. For it is written in the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, and may this word be entered as part of the evidence that it is written that Satan has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And right now, it is my evidence before the judge that he has stolen my finances. He has stolen the seeds that are coming from my father. In the mighty name of Jesus, he stole my wisdom from my finances. In the mighty name of Jesus, and this is my evidence before the judge. It is my evidence before the judge. He has depleted my finances. He has depleted my finances. I want to right now mention the debts that you have. Mention the debts, and say that Satan did this debt in my life. He caused this debt in my life. I say in the name of Jesus, it is my allegation that Satan caused this debt. He caused this debt in my life. Mention them by name. Mention them by name. Mention them before the judge. Mention them before the judge. Mention all the debts that Satan has caused in your life. Mention them by name. Mention. Do not take ownership of them. Say that this is the enemy who has done this. This is the enemy who has done this. This is the enemy who has done this. He planted weeds in my finances. He planted weeds in my finances. This is the enemy who has caused this. In the mighty name of Jesus, he planted weeds. He planted weeds with my wheat. He planted weeds in my finances. He has caused all these debts. He has caused all these debts because he is the thief. He is the thief. I want you to accuse this evidence and say that this is my evidence before the judge. Is my evidence before the judge. He has caused this harm in my finances, and today I appear before the judge. I appear before the judge. I say that the enemy has done this. The enemy has done this against my finances. The enemy has caused this disorder in my finances. The enemy has caused disorder in my finances. This is my evidence before the judge. Is my evidence before the judge in the name of Jesus. Now, I read this word into the evidence that is before the court. Go to the book of Colossians. Go to the book of Colossians 40, verse 14 to 15, and I want you to read it into the evidence. Read it into the evidence. Say that I read this word into the evidence. And this is the word, because the word is testifying for me. The word is testifying for me. May the judge receive this evidence. I'm reading it into the record of this case. I'm reading it into the record of this curse, and this evidence is admissible because it is here, it is written here. It is the word, and the word is here to testify for me. It is here to testify for me because the word is my witness. The word is my witness that it is written. I want you to read it into the record. Read it into the record. What is written in the book of Colossians, that it is written that Jesus Christ blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross, and having spoiled the principalities and powers, and made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. This is my evidence. I am reading it into the record of this case. I'm reading it into the record of this case. I'm reading it into the record of this case. Right now, it is my evidence before the judge. It is my evidence before this court that every judgment, every open case that is against me, every open case that is against me, that is written against me, every open case that is written against me, that is contrary to the word, that is contrary to the word, that is carrying ordinances against me, that has ordinances against me. Right now, it is my evidence before the judge that Jesus Christ blotted it out, that Jesus Christ blotted it out, that Jesus Christ blotted it out. He blotted it out. Therefore, it is my request before the judge that all the open cases, let them be struck off the roll. All the open cases, let them be struck off the roll. Let them be closed forever. Let them be closed forever and be struck off the roll. Let them be closed forever and be struck off the roll, because the blood is testifying. The blood is testifying. The blood is testifying in my favor. The blood is testifying in my favor. Every judgment that is before the court of Satan, every judgment that is before the court of Satan against my finances, every judgment that is before the court of Satan, every judgment that is before the judge of the court of heaven, it is my evidence before the judge that handwriting that carries the ordinances against my finances, let that evidence be Jesus Christ blotted it out. It is written that Jesus Christ blotted it out. Therefore, this evidence, this judgment has no legal right against me, has no legal right against me. Jesus Christ blotted it out. Jesus Christ blotted it out. He blotted it out. Jesus Christ blotted it out. He blotted it out. In the name of Jesus, I say Jesus Christ blotted it out and nailed it to the cross. All these judgments, Jesus Christ nailed them to his cross. Jesus Christ nailed them to his cross in the mighty name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Right now, it is my evidence before the judge that all these judgments are on the cross. All these judgments are on the cross according to the word, all these judgments that Satan obtained against my finances are all on the cross, including all the transactions that Satan made with the kingdom of the marine, with the kingdom of the waters, all the transactions that Satan had with the kingdom of the marine. I say right now, all the transactions that Satan had with the king that are operating against me, I say all in the mighty name of Jesus. I pray right now, I say all the transactions that are in my bloodline with the kingdom of the marine, that is rightly put, all the transactions that are in my bloodline, that are operating in my bloodline, that are operating against me with the kingdom of the marine, the transactions with the kingdom of the marine, the transactions with the kingdom of the marine, the transaction with the kingdom of the waters, the transactions with the kingdom of the waters, the transactions with the kingdom of the forest, the transactions with the kingdom of the forest, the transactions with the kingdom of the forest, the transactions with the kingdom of the constellations, the transactions with the kingdom of the constellation, the transactions that Satan has made against my finances that are operating against me, the transactions with the kingdom of the graveyard, in the name of Jesus. It is my evidence before the judge that I have cancelled all the covenants with Satan. I have cancelled all the covenants with all his kingdoms. I have cancelled them. Therefore, they have no legal right to operate against my finances, no legal right to cause mismanagement in my finances. They have no legal right in the mighty name of Jesus. And furthermore, it is written that Jesus Christ took all those transactions and nailed them to his cross. He nailed them to his cross. He removed them from me. He nullified them. Jesus Christ nullified them. He nullified them by his blood. He blotted them out. Together with their legalities, together with their obligations. He blotted them out and he removed them from me. He invalidated them. He removed them from me, Jesus Christ, and he nailed them to his cross. In the mighty name of Jesus. Now in Jesus' name, every evil vow that I will never manage my finances according to the principles of God, I say that evil vow, I say that evil pact that was made against my finances, I say right now in the name of Jesus. Now Jesus Christ, that evil pact, that evil vow, he nailed it to his cross. Right now, it is my evidence according to what is written in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14. They are on the cross. They have no right to operate against my finances. They have no legal right to operate against my finances. In the mighty name of Jesus, all the decrees that are operating against my finances, that are bringing me mismanagement of my finances, it is my evidence before the judge that they are all nailed to the cross. They are all nailed to the cross. Jesus Christ nailed them to the cross. In the mighty name of Jesus, they have no right to operate against my finances. They have no right to operate against my finances. I pray before the judge, it is my evidence before the judge that all the evil handwritings, all the evil patterns that are operating against my finances, that are causing mismanagement in my finances. Right now, it is my evidence according to the word that is written in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 and 15 that Jesus Christ blotted them out. Jesus Christ blotted them out together with their legal obligation. Together with their legal obligations, Jesus Christ blotted them out and he nullified them. He invalidated them against me. He invalidated them against me. He invalidated them against me. That is what Jesus Christ did, and he nailed them to his cross. He nailed them to his cross. He nailed them to his cross, and he disarmed the principalities and the powers. He disarmed the principalities and the powers by making a public spectacle of them and triumphing over them by his cross. He disarmed the principalities and the powers by making them a public spectacle, triumphing over them by his cross. Right now, it is my evidence before the judge that the principalities have no legal right, to operate against my finances, and all the powers of darkness have no legal right to operate against my finances. They have no power to operate against my finances. They have no authority to operate against my finances. No authority to operate against my finances. For it is written, Jesus Christ disempowered them. Jesus Christ disarmed them in the name of Jesus. Now, it is my prayer before the judge that Satan be found guilty of violating what is written in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 and 15. May this court find him guilty because he violated the word, what is written in the book of Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 to 15. Because the rock cannot be beaten twice. Jesus Christ cannot be crucified for the second time. He had died for all. He died for every evil handwriting that operates against my life. He died for every legal obligation. For every debt, he died for it. He died for it. This is my evidence before the judge. He died for them. In the name of Jesus, may Satan be found guilty. In the mighty name of Jesus, may this court right now, issue a judgment, pass a judgment against Satan, pass a judgment against Satan that he violated the word, pass the judgment against Satan that he violated the word, because the testimony of the blood cannot be contested. The testimony of the blood cannot be contested. When Jesus Christ said it is finished, it was finished. When Jesus Christ said it is finished, it was finished. The voice of the blood cannot be contested. The testimony of the blood cannot be contested, because the blood of Jesus Christ defeated Satan on the cross. The blood of Jesus Christ defeated Satan on the cross. The evidence of the blood cannot be contested. The evidence of the blood cannot be contested. May the judge pass the judgment against Satan, because the blood of Jesus Christ has testified on my behalf. The blood of Jesus Christ has testified on my behalf in the mighty name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Now I pray to the judge. May the judge right now pass the order. May the judge right now issue the order. Issue the order against Satan. Issue the order against Satan. The order of restoration. I want back everything that is stolen from me. I want back the wisdom of God to manage my finances. I want it back in the mighty name of Jesus. I want back every cent that you stole from me. Every cent that you stole from me, I want it back in the mighty name of Jesus. May the order be granted against Satan. The order of eviction, that Satan be evicted from my finances. That Satan be evicted from my finances. Let every debt be evicted. Every debt be evicted from my finances. Let every debt be evicted from my finances in the mighty name of Jesus. And I pray, Lord, as I appear before the judge, I pray, Lord, and I make my promise that I shall manage my finances as it is written in the book of Malachi chapter 3. It is my promise before the judge, and I ask you, Holy Spirit, that you help me to do it in Jesus' name. Lord, I pray in the name of Jesus that the judgment be passed today. Let the judgment be passed today. Let it be executed against Satan today in the mighty name of Jesus, together with the orders of restoration. Let them be executed against Satan today in the name of Jesus. Let the judge release the proclamation that right now the judgment against Satan operates today, as with fact from today, that the orders against Satan are executed not later than today in the name of Jesus. They operate at this hour in Jesus' name. Lord, I pray and I thank the judge in the name of Jesus. I thank the judge for blessing me with this victory in Jesus' name. Now, as a king that is on earth, I establish here on I proclaim, I say in the name of Jesus, I pronounce here on earth, I decree that I have judgment against Satan. I decree here on earth that I have judgment against Satan. I obtain orders against Satan in the mighty name of Jesus. As I decree here on earth, let this decree be established in heaven. Let it be established in heaven. Let it operate today in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, I give you all the glory in Jesus' name. Now I pronounce in the four corners of the earth that I have judgment against Satan. Tell your brother and your sister, I have judgment, I have judgment, I have judgment against Satan. Tell everyone that I have judgment, I have judgment, I have judgment against Satan in the mighty name of Jesus. I have judgment against Satan. I have judgment against Satan. I obtain judgment against Satan in the mighty name of Jesus. And it operates now. It operates now. I have judgment against Satan in the mighty name of Jesus. I proclaim in Jesus' name that right now there's abundance in my life. 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 Right now, I shall enjoy the happiness with my God. I shall enjoy the happiness with my God in the mighty name of Jesus. Can we give a Lord a mighty hand? Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I think that you can do better than that. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Can you say that? It is done, it is done. It is done, it is done. It is done, it is done. I receive a judgment that is unappealable. Is unappealable. Is unappealable. 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 In the name of Jesus, I receive it. In Jesus' name. Hallelujah. We thank the Lord. Amen. We thank the Lord. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 We went beyond the time by almost 1 hour, but it was good, all right? It was good. It was good. It was good. Say to somebody, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it. Hallelujah. It was worth it. It was worth it. And now, Mamela Gengok. Mamela, do you remember that song that I sent you? Remember that song? All right. Can they play that song? Before we can exit. Amen. Can they play that song? Is it possible for them to play that song? They are not. They are not. They are not. Is it possible? Can they play it? Is everybody going to dance? Amen. That I came to church today. Amen. And I receive it. Amen. I receive it. I receive it. I receive it. I receive it. It was meant for me. Amen. This service was meant for me. Hallelujah. For the whole week I'm going to say, hey Satan, I have judgment against you. I have judgment against you. And it is unappealable. You cannot appeal against it. In the name of Jesus. Because the blood testified. Oh! Are we ready to dance? Oh! Are we ready to dance? Church. Hey, hey. Feel like I have a church. Feel like I have a church. Feel like I have a church. Amen. After this song, like a church, like a church. Oh. Feel like I have a church. Feel like I have a church. Oh. Feel like I have a church. Oh. When you are my age, you can't move. have a church. Church. Amen. We thank the Lord. They have a church. Amen. Oh Lord, that's a beautiful song, eh? Beautiful song. Now, and let's move to and finish everything. All right. I'm looking at the time. I'm becoming embarrassed now. Can we have bless the Lord? Can we bless?